In this lesson, let's go ahead and understand the importance of orchestration services. At this point, we know that containers have several advantages. We know that containers are small, the images that containers use can be spun up very quickly, dependencies that are packed inside a container, they all work together, they are resilient, so when one of them goes down, another one can come up quickly. They are scalable, so you can add new containers, and they are elastic in nature. But all of that is good thing about containers. Although containers have several advantages, they are not ready by themselves for an enterprise scale application. What we need is things like resiliency or ensuring that there's an active container always running. We also need things like load balancing, things like scaling, elasticity, or even adding and removing containers require something more than just a container engine and a host. They require an orchestrator. Let's go ahead and chat about orchestrators for a moment. A host is a single point of failure, so we need cluster hosts to have true resiliency so that if one host goes down, another host can be spun up to handle the missing load. Orchestrators also provide services like load balancers that enable running multiple containers of the same image. For example, you may have web service that scales out to multiple containers even though it is accessed by a single endpoint or port. Containers require a way to scale on demand without manually spinning up images, so an orchestrator can provide that ability to react to, let's say, CPU usage load or maybe other indicators to spin up new containers and hosts. Finally, orchestrators manage resiliency by automatically healing when containers crash. They will automatically bring up new containers, whether it's on an existing host or a new host within the cluster. One important aspect is that orchestrators also provide versioning, deployment, and rollback. In other words, as you stage new versions of containers, you are able to stage them in a way that minimizes or completely eliminates downtime. Let's talk about some of the popular orchestration services that are supported by Azure Container Services. The first one is Kubernetes. Kubernetes is a Google based solution that's an open source system for automated deployment, scaling, and management of containerized applications. Mesos, DCOS, is another orchestration solution. It is called as a data center and operating system orchestration solution. So this is a mature open source product that's been around there for several years. Now, this organization did not start as a container management solution, but it does a fairly good job. And then finally, Docker. Today, Docker is a standard for containers. It has its own engine called as Docker Swarm that manages clusters of Docker hosts.